Hello everybody, welcome to Shogi Ramen TV. いらっしゃいませ. Let's enjoy Shogi with me. Today, I want to share this game, Sente Hirose vs Gote Kubo. And Hirose was called Prince of Anaguma in the past. And in this game, he played very well with the Anaguma. And also Kubo is very famous as a specialist of the Furibisha. So that you can enjoy the Anaguma vs Furibisha in this game. Okay, then let's see from the first move. Sente Hirose, moving the rook pawn, and Gote Kubo, open bishop, and pushing pawn, and close the bishop, moving silver, and pushing h pawn, and push back the h pawn, and moving the rook to the sangenbisha, and pushing pawn, moving the bishop, and bring the king, and bring the silver, and bring the king, and bring the king, and pushing pawn, and moving the gold, and moving the bishop. This is a sign of the Anaguma. And bring the silver, and bring the silver, and moving the king, and moving the king, and moving the silver. This is one of the interesting points against the sangenbisha versus Anaguma. And against this silver move, if Sente move the pushing this pawn, this is also popular way. And against this pawn, this silver can use for the defense against the Ishida formation. So against this silver, if the Sente bring the silver for the defense, this is also very popular way, but a bit weak against the Ishida formation. So the Gote can choose against this silver move or pawn. So in this game, Hirose chose this silver move, and Kubo pushed this pawn. This is the way. And pushing this pawn, move back the silver, and creating the Anaguma. And moving the king, and entering the king, and creating the Mino. Creating Anaguma, and move back the bishop, and completing the Anaguma, and pushing this pawn. And in this game, Hirose bring the gold for the defense. This is very rare defense way, but very interesting. And gold is sometimes very strong for the defense. And pushing this pawn, moving the bishop, taking this pawn, and taking by gold. Bring the silver, and attacking from here. Take, and take. And moving the rook here. This is a typical technique in the Furibisha game. And if take the bishop, Gote can take rook. So the normal way is dropping the pawn here. And then pushing this pawn. Taking bishop, and take by rook. And pushing this pawn. This is very simple way. So the Gote need to hurry up from the another area. And in this game, pushing this pawn. And in the Anaguma game, moving the silver and gold to connect the Anaguma is very important, like this. And dropping the bishop, moving the rook, and dropping the pawn to get the knight. Promoted pawn, and take knight, and take pawn. Escape the bishop, and protect the gold by pawn. This is interesting way, but important. If the escape like this, promoted bishop can attack like this. So this way would be the best way in this situation. And pushing this pawn. And in this timing, Sente Hirose choose attack like this. This is very strong move because the gote can promote like this kind of the game, but Hirose had convinced to win in this kind of the situation. And against this promoted pawn, Kubo took by rook. Then the Sente's rook can attack like this. And dropping the pawn to protect the rook and also to block the rook, opponent's rook. Then take this pawn. This is interesting step of the moves. And moving the promoted bishop and dropping the knight to fork the silver and gold. Dropping the pawn. So against the Anaguma, using the pawn to create the promoted pawn is the most important way to break the Anaguma. And against this pawn, taking silver and dropping the silver to prevent the creating the pawn. And in this game, this silver was worked very well. Let's see. And bring the gold to connect each other. This is one of the very useful defense way because in this situation, Sente can drop the bishop here or here. So connecting the pieces is very important. And dropping the bishop. And from here, in this game, very interesting and most important proverb is the speed is the most important than the materials. So in this situation, from here, not escaping the rook and sacrifice of the silver. This is very interesting move. If take this silver, it looks free, but the gote can drop the knight and create the promoted pawn next. This is very strong attack way than taking the free silver. So against this silver move, Sente ignore take this silver and keep this position for the defense and take the rook. And against this bishop, gote didn't take this because if take this bishop, Sente can drop the rook and the double rook is very strong attack and remove the silver. This is the most important for the gote to drop the knight next. And of course, Sente didn't take this silver and drop the rook, not saving the bishop and dropping the knight here. So this game is the battle of the speed to the king. And in this position, Hirose chose taking this pawn by bishop. This is very amazing way because if I play this game, I will choose this way because the double rook looks very strong. But in this situation, dropping the knight is a very strong defense and there's no quick way to break this formation because this bishop is not working for the attack especially. So in this position, taking this pawn by bishop, it looks slow in this moment, but against this promoted pawn, taking this pawn was very strong way. Now this double rook worked, and against this move, if drop the knight, this bishop can attack and easily break the opponent's castle. So in this position and taking the gold is not the tsumero because this silver is defending this knight. This is very important. Let's see. And gote try to defend by dropping the pawn, but Sente can sacrifice the rook. Take, and there is no good defense for the gote and take the gold. but this is not Tsumero, because this silver is defending, and this means the Sente can give any pieces to the opponent, like this. And in this game, Kubo resigned at this moment, because if take this rook, dropping the gold, escape, and attack the bishop, escape, and moving the gold. This is very popular Hishi formation. There is no defense for the Gote, and also attack point of view, Gote can take knight, but taking by silver. Let's see this position. There is no check from the opponent if he has any pieces. So this formation is called Z in the Shogi world. Z means that if the opponent has any pieces, he never checkmate the king. So in this situation, you can give any pieces. So in this game, giving the rook is a very easy way to capture the opponent king. So then Kubo resigned this game, and I was very surprised about this position, taking this pawn by bishop. This was very nice move of the Hirose, and I saw his strength of the Anaguma, very correct calculation of the speed of the Anaguma and attack to the king. Okay, thank you for watching. See you next ramen. Bye bye.